What's going on? This is Big G from G Riders, and welcome to another episode of Testing Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing the 2016 Mini Cooper Hardtop 4-door base model. Welcome to the 2016 Mini Cooper 4-door hardtop base model. In 2014, the Mini Cooper was all new. And in 2015, the very first 4-door Mini Cooper hardtop came out. With this being an all-new model, it's on an all-new platform. So now, instead of being on a Mini platform, it's now on a BMW platform. It's similar to the platform found on the new BMW 2 Series Grand Touring, and it's also similar to the BMW X1 platform. And now the BMW is bigger and better than ever. This vehicle is pretty much the same as the regular 4-door, but it's 190 pounds heavier due to the extra 2 doors. The vehicle weight is around 2,700 pounds. So that's a very lightweight car right there. Even though it is bigger, it is still very lightweight, still holding true to the Mini pedigree. Because the weight is so low on the car, you don't need that much power to get it around. But because this is kind of a BMW now, they have to give the car an adequate amount of power to kind of wear the BMW name, even though it's a Mini. So this car comes with the 1.5 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. That makes 134 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. What that means is this vehicle goes from 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds and runs a quarter mile in about 15.5 seconds. This little 3-cylinder turbo motor is pretty peppy. And because it's just a little 3-cylinder, it gets a respectable 27 miles per gallon in the city and 37 miles per gallon on the highway on premium gas, and the gas tank is about 10.6 gallons. With the Mini being kind of a BMW, that means it's not going to be the cheapest car in the world. So this particular model, the Mini Cooper 4-door, starts at $23,000, and that's with the base 3-cylinder engine with the manual transmission, and it starts at $23,000. And this one with the automatic and the sunroof comes in at about $26,000. And loaded up, they can go well over $30,000. But if I were to buy one, loaded up G-Rider style, it'd come in over $28,000. And these are the features that I would have. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the interior. As you can kind of see already, this is a base model, so that means it doesn't have really any options. Only option this one has is the sunroof up top and the automatic transmission. There's no spin or anything. Alright, so let's take a look at the inside. Let's talk about the interior. For a big car like myself, the front is very roomy up here. Like, I have enough space. I have enough space for my legs. I am pretty close to the passenger, but once everybody gets strapped in and get in a comfortable position, it's not too big of a problem. But I definitely, when I got in here, I can definitely tell that this is not a cheap car because the interior is really high quality. It's like, even up here, it's a little bit hard, but it feels pretty good to the touch. The dash is pretty soft. These vents feel really nice. The little fake carbon fiber looks pretty cool up here because it matches the car's personality. The steering wheel feels excellent. These cool grips here for the steering wheel feels really nice in your hands. It makes it really cool to drive. The steering wheel's a good size. The shifter's in a good place, and all the buttons and switches feel really good. And I love this little black circle here. I think it looks really sick. But like most cars, they have their ups and downs, pros and cons for the interior. Like the little speaker holdings down here, they're pretty hard. I mean, this is an expensive car. It should be a little nicer to feel than this, because this is kind of where you rest your leg. But everything else feels really good. One thing that adds a lot to this car is the lighting and how everything works in here. So instead of a traditional push button starter, down here, when you step on the brake, the toggle switch starts pulsating, and so it's ready for you to start. So all you got to do to start is step on the brake and push it up or down to start. I like to push it up. So one cool thing about this car is it has a lot of lights. So something really cool here in the center, like around the radio here, we turn it up and down. It goes along with the volume. It's really cool. And then like when you turn the climate control on, it shows you where you are on the hot and cold scale. And then it lights up for the different drive modes. So right now it's in sport. See, it glows red. There's the middle. And then there's the green mode, the eco mode. I think it's really cool. I think it adds a lot to this interior. And then like any other modern car, the 3 driver modes do change the car a little bit. So of course, in the green mode, it gives you the best fuel economy. So it loosens up the throttle response, it loosens up the steering, it just makes the car easier to drive, easier to maneuver, and the most fuel efficient possible. And then the sport mode tightens up the throttle response, tightens up the steering, and it just makes the car a lot stiffer, and it makes it like really, I wouldn't say it's harder to drive, but it's definitely a lot tighter than normal. And then the middle, it's just the middle mode where it gives you both fuel economy and sport. Really cool feature though. I really like it. I like all cars that have it. I wish it would do more though sometimes. Alright, let's take a look at the back seat. Alright, this is the back seat. As you can see, I have the seat all the way back because that's what I'm most comfortable with. And look, there's no back seat at all. Like, nobody can fit back there. That's why this car sometimes doesn't make that much sense to me. Why make a 4-door version of a 2-door car but doesn't make the 4-door version any longer? It just makes no sense. Nobody can fit back there. Nobody. That's why this car only makes sense in the 2-door form or the Countryman or the Clubman. But a 4-door hardtop doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Just my opinion. Alright, let's see how the car sounds. I do a little 0 to 60 test right now. Alright, let's talk about how this thing drives. Start by putting in sport mode like any mini. The way this thing pulls, it's almost hard to believe this is a 3-cylinder. One great thing about the Mini is it handles like a little go-kart. So even though the Mini has gotten bigger over the years, it's held on to its same Mini handling characteristics. Handles like a go-kart. You go in with precision and solidity, and you come out pretty quickly because this motor is 1.3 turbo, so that means it has a little bit of torque. Like 162 foot-pounds of torque. But based on what I've kind of felt, I feel like this engine's underrated, just like all BMWs. It says it only has 134 horsepower, but I feel like it has around probably 150, 160 horsepower. 162 pound-feet of torque feels about right, but it definitely feels like it has more power than 130 horsepower. The steering is really good. It's really precise. You know what the front wheels are doing, even though it's like electrically powered assisted steering. And the brake feels really good. So you step on the brake pretty hard, you get some feedback to know that the car is slowing down, and it's coming to a stop pretty fast. And I really like that about this car. This is definitely one of the better handling cars I've driven ever. Even though it's a base model on skinny little 15-inch economy tires. Even though I like this car a lot, this car is not perfect. I'm gonna bring it up again from when I talked about the back seat. So when I get in the car, I kind of scrape half of me on the pillar right here. Because there's because there's a back seat and 4 doors. Because there's a back seat and 4 doors, that means they have to put a pillar to attach the rear door to. And me being a big guy and as much room as this interior has, the seat goes farther back than the pillar does, and I don't like that. Because I go to sit in the car to get into a car like normal, and I have to like maneuver around it to get in the car, and it's really awkward to get in. So getting in is like really awkward, and sometimes it hurts a little bit because sometimes I may not get around it enough, and I'll like hit the middle of my back on the pillar here, and it hurts a little bit. And besides that, the vehicle is super solid. I haven't driven any of the manual transmission minis, but this automatic is really fast. I mean, dual clutch fast. It may even be a dual clutch, or maybe the same company who makes the 8 speeds for BMW. But here it is. I'm a upshift. Sorry, downshift. I don't know why I always get that wrong. Let's turn around. And watch how it just bangs through these gears. Definitely is dual clutch fast. Definitely is dual clutch fast. I really like that about this car. I didn't expect the transmission to be that fast because I have driven the previous generation Mini, and the transmission was not that fast. It was actually really slow. So like you might be better off buying the manual. But I'm glad they made put a good automatic in here, because that's kind of that's my preference of transmissions. I am an enthusiast, and I do like driving, and don't get me wrong, I do know how to drive a manual transmission, and I'm pretty decent at it too. It's just with the way traffic is getting now here in Oregon and other places, I just don't want to sit in traffic with a manual. So having a good automatic is definitely a plus to my book. Let's talk about the suspension a little bit. The suspension's really good. So when you go over bumps, it doesn't blow your back out. But when you go into a corner, the vehicle doesn't have a whole lot of body roll. I mean, and there's not much more I need to say about that. It's a little sporty handling car that doesn't hurt your back. That's pretty good. But nowadays, that's kind of the standard now. You can't have a really firm riding hot hatchback just because nobody will buy it, because most of the time nowadays, people use hot hatchbacks for their daily drivers. No, that's not a hot hatchback because it's the base model with 134 horsepower, but this does come in the John Cooper Works that has well over 200 horsepower. So, and that one is the hot hatchback of the group. Let's talk a little bit about some competitors for this car. So this is, if you didn't know, this is the premium compact car section. So that includes the Mercedes CLA, the Audi A3, and even the Golf GTI, really, because the Golf GTI has upped their quality a lot over the years. And my opinion, I don't think this really competes with those other cars, just because this car is kind of in its own class, like for the size and what it offers for performance. And I don't think it's in the same class. I don't think you can compare it to the bigger vehicles like the Audi and the Mercedes. I don't think it's big. I don't think it's big enough to really compete in that class. I think it's kind of in its own class as like maybe like a premium subcompact car class. But overall, I really enjoy driving this car. This car is fast, fun to drive. Well, no, sorry, it's not fast. It's quick, peppy. So kind of my final thoughts on this car. It's really fun to drive. It has adequate power for the size. It's really comfortable to ride in. And you couldn't even imagine all the looks I get. Big African American guy driving a little Mini Cooper. Everybody just has to look like, everybody just has to look at me and laugh. I don't know why, but they act like they've never seen a big guy driving a Mini Cooper before. But it's all fun, and that'd be one of the main. That'd be a reason that I'll buy this car, actually, just to get some of those looks. Because it's like, really, big guy driving a Mini, that's hilarious.